Greetings traders, this is Coach Robert with another episode of TopstepX in 5 minutes or less. In this video, we will review the VWAP indicator and the anchored VWAP drawing tool. To start, we have our indicators at the top of the screen. We can search for VWAP, and there it is, and then we can use the star next to it so it will now show as a favorite and move it to the top of the list. By choosing VWAP, it will apply it to your chart with the default settings. This VWAP begins at the market open each day, in this example 5 p.m. Central Time. It places the indicator in the indicators list at the top left. We can choose the settings and set it up the way we wish to view it. For example, this is the color blue. Let's say we want to make it a purplish color, and we need to make it a little wider so we can see it. We can also choose the source on which it is calculated. By default, it is the high price, low price, close price, and dividing by 3. So it's basically the average size of the candle with a little more weight on the close. And again, this starts at 5 p.m. Central Time each day. So suppose we wanted to have an indicator start at the beginning of the London session and then a third one at the beginning of the New York session. Due to this day having some news on it, I'm going to reverse by 1 day so we have a better view, a little bit easier to demonstrate this. First of all, we go over to our drawing panel. In this area here, we have measurement tools. By default, it is on this long position tool. In the list, we see anchored VWAP. While we have the anchored VWAP selected, we will move our mouse to where we wish to anchor it in time. So the time scale is at the bottom, and the London session is open at 2 a.m. So I'm going to click at 2 a.m. and it automatically applies that VWAP beginning at the London session. We can also choose the settings of this one. We want them all calculated on the same criteria, high, low, close, divided by 3. If you wish to choose something different, feel free, but you may want to keep them all the same to get accurate information. We need to do this one more time. This time we will go to 8:30 a.m. Central Time and be sure that we are anchoring this to the high, low, close 3, and let's give it a slightly different color of, you'd say, yellow. So now we can clearly see the difference between the 3 VWAP calculations. The default, the anchored we started at the beginning of the London session, and the anchored we started at the beginning of the US session. As an additive alternative, let's say we wanted the overnight high. Well, we choose that candle, but now we need to have it calculate on the high. And then we want to choose the low of the overnight, which happens to be here. And we want to make sure we choose the low. So now we have a pretty good representation as to how VWAP acted throughout the evening, throughout the overnights on the highs and the lows. Now let's move this to the high of the start of the Asian market as well. We can see how they are pretty close, but this is a little bit more weighted from the middle to the bottom. So this would be the original to the low calculations. And then we can see how they interact at the beginning of each market where we do have more volume, since volume is considered in the VWAP calculation, volume weighted average price. So these 3 VWAPs will be taking the average price since the start of the market open, 5 p.m. Central Time. The white one will be calculated on the highs. The purple one by default, the high, low, close divided by 3. And the lower one focused on the low prices. You can set these up however you would like, starting at each session, starting highs, starting lows for a different look, and whatever suits your needs for your trading style. This concludes the VWAP indicator and the anchored VWAP drawing tool.